Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Success Starts Within. Now, before I start, I have a bit of a public apology for you. Somebody terribly edited her episode last week. So my friend messaged me, she was like, this isn't a criticism, but just to let you know that last week's episode, there were quite a few gaps in between what you were saying. I was like, That serves me right because I did record it the day of when the children were downstairs, literally like 2 hours before it was meant to go out. No, sorry, not 2 hours before, the night before it was meant to go out, and the children were here and I was just a little bit frantic. So huge apologies for a terribly recorded episode. But I hope you still got something from it in between the silences. But anyway, so before I carry on with what I was going to talk about, this week has been, past week has been flipping crazy. So I just want to share with you my journey. You might have seen it on Instagram. I got called by the universe to completely rebrand last week in half term, which was just the worst time ever. But when you got to go with it, you've got to go with it. I'm working with a business coach at the moment, which is absolutely amazing. And we created two fantastic offers, which I'm launching. But with that, my current branding just was completely misaligned. So I'm rebranding. And I am making these very sharp, snap decisions about what I need to do for it. So I've got photos being taken on Friday, which I only organised last Friday. I'm frantically trying to find outfits that I'm going to be delivered today or tomorrow, so that I can get them in time for the shoot. And it's crazy. It's overwhelming. But one thing that I've really noticed about myself and how I am managing everything that's going on with me at the moment is I'm so much calmer and more grounded than I used to be. And I have this like inner knowing that what I'm doing is going to work out. And that is all because of the nervous system work that I've taught myself over the last 3 to 4 years when I first started. And it's just starting to show up now in a time where I'm juggling 20 balls and I was juggling an extra 2 balls in the school holidays, but feeling okay. Like, don't get me wrong, there's like, oh God, there's so much to do, but it's like, but I know it's going to be okay. And to feel like I know it's going to be okay is such a wonderful place to be in. And I'm really proud of all of the work that I put in for me, because it's enabling me to be able to manage all these different tasks and all these different things all at one time without completely thinking that I need to give it up or that I can't handle it. This isn't for me, and allowing all these old stories to pop in my head. I've really noticed how I have rewired my brain to feed me words of support and guidance rather than telling me that I can't do it. So it's been a really nice experience. Well, I say really nice experience, but it's been a fun experience over the past week. And I'm so excited to launch like my new branding for you guys over the next couple of weeks. It's main character energy. It is stepping into the identity of the woman that you deserve to be. This is high vibe, high frequency, fucking awesome shit that we're going to bring out into the world. And I want you to come on this journey with me. I want you to be in my gang. I want you to be one of those women that just fucking does it. Do you know what I mean? Like, no more of this, oh, I can't. No, we're doing it, girls. We're doing it. So without further ado, today I want to talk about networking and that scary place where sometimes we walk in and we feel like an imposter and we have these eyes on us and we feel that we are inferior to everybody else. And I want to talk about how it makes us feel, the reason that we feel like that, and I'm going to give you some tips of how you can overcome going into networking events. And then I'm going to talk about one of the offers that I've got coming out soon that is really going to help you if you are kind of on the cusp of wanting to do networking. You know you can do it, but you're just a little bit too nervous. So I've got something that will be perfect for you, which I will talk about in a little while. So networking, it can be a place where you can feel really exposed, especially if you have done networking before. So I've been having some conversations this week with women who showing up at networking events in their own capacity, whereas in the past they would go for their corporate company. So they would be hiding behind a logo, they'd be hiding behind this brand. And it's like the language that they're using and the people that they're speaking to and the things that they're saying aren't actually coming from them. It's coming on behalf of the corporate brand. So it feels a lot easier. It's like you've got this mask on, and so it's easier to come across in whatever way you want to. But when we take that mask off and you're going into these networking events as yourself and you're going in as your brand, it feels so exposing and it feels very different. And that is when you get these thoughts of doubt, thoughts of, can I do this? Am I good enough? You know, all these shitty little stories that pop into our mind. So they can be a really scary place to be if you're not somebody that likes the attention or is confident. Even if you are somebody that's confident, when you are talking about yourself, it can bring up a lot of physical sensations and a lot of thoughts of, I'm boasting about myself. It feels like very indulgent to talk about me. And that's the way that we've been conditioned. But you're not talking about you in that bragging sense. You're talking about your services and how you can help other people. Because of course, there are people out there that need your help. So it's thinking about it and having that reframe and thinking about it in a different way. So one of the reasons that people get quite nervous going into a networking event is that fear of judgment. So they'll think of like, what are people going to think of me? What if I'm not as successful as everybody else? What if I say something stupid? And all of these thoughts constantly go around in your mind. And they actually flood a certain part of your brain, which stops you from being able to think, speak, and see clearly. And as you can imagine, that is then going to cost you to mumble over your words and to not be able to pitch yourself in the way that you've been practicing in the mirror, because you're going to come across differently, you're going to feel differently, and then the spiral starts. So I can imagine, will feel these sensations in your body. Your heart's going to be pumping, your head might be pumping as well, you're going to be feeling hot, you're going to be feeling quite tense. So all of these things are going to be happening all at the same time, and it is a very intense feeling to have when you're going into a place where you're trying to sell yourself. It's really tricky. So another thing as well that I've heard people say is that they're worried about like what other people will think. And not only that, how they're going to see other people. So they compare themselves to the other women that are in the networking event. Some of them have been going for years, so they know everybody in the room. Some of them may have had their businesses for a long time, so they know exactly how to network. And so if you're a new business owner or you haven't been going to networking events, or if you're an old business owner and you've just been getting your clients through referrals and recommendations and not actually having to go to networking events, but now you're thinking, I need to scale, I need to get myself out there, it's going to feel very different. And you are going to have to go out there and go into these networking events and be seen. So it's very easy for you to start that comparison about what you see around you. And comparison is a very tricky trap to get yourself stuck into, because on the surface, you see what other people's lives are. So in a networking event, you will see how somebody comes across, but you don't know the journey that they've had to go through to get to where they are. They may have been like you. You know, they could have been as nervous as you going into their networking events. They may have gone to networking events and not even got out of the car. But they've done the work on themselves so that they're now at a place where they can be in the room, own it, talk to everybody and feel confident without shying away. So try not to get yourself stuck in that comparison trap. It's obviously very easy. We do it all the time, but it's something to take into consideration that there are other people that potentially have been just like you. Another thing that I have heard a lot this week is about the identity conflict. So people feeling like they don't fit. Now, some of the women I went to a networking event about 2 weeks ago I think I was about 2 or 3 of them, and they have children and they've got young children, like some of them are 1 or 2 years old, and they're still trying to like set up their business, or they're trying to scale a business that kind of went quiet while they were on maternity leave. And they're in this kind of conflict of like, "Ugh, I'm still here, like I'm at this networking event, but I'm still being a mum. Like, where do I fit?" In fact, there was this one lady. She was like, "I really need to go home because my boobs are about to burst." And I just thought, gosh, you really are juggling two different identities right now. Like, she was in the room all day, giving input, talking about her business, which was amazing, and then having that, I need to go home and I need to be a mum, and just completely changing that state of mind and changing that hat to somebody different. So that identity conflict can happen around motherhood. You also can have it around like, I want to be more visible, which is why I'm here in the networking event. But also it doesn't feel right. It feels uncomfortable. So it's this real incongruence between who you are now and who you want to be. And that can be a tricky place to be as well, because it can get frustrating. And that's when you can start I can't remember what the word is now, like putting yourself down and doubting yourself and saying that you can't actually do it, but then you want to. So it's trying to like juggle two conflicting things, but ultimately wanting to be somebody different. So a reframe really I want you to think about when you are thinking about networking events is you're not going in there to impress people, and it isn't about that at all. You're not in there to show off all of the things that you're able to do, your skills. It's not about that at all. It's just about getting in the right rooms, and the rooms where you can start to expand. Now, when you do start going to networking events, yes, if you meet your ideal client or potential client or somebody that knows somebody that is going to work with you, fantastic. But don't make that your ultimate goal, because that creates a lot of pressure. Go into those rooms and just say to yourself, I want to feel comfortable in here. And that is it. Take it very slowly, because when you work with the nervous system, which is ultimately what you need to do if you're going to start networking and being in these rooms and feeling comfortable, is that it needs to build up slowly, and it needs to feel comfortable with every level up that you do. So just go in with the intention of, I just want to feel comfortable in this room. And even if you don't talk to anybody, or even if you don't have the opportunity to pitch, that's okay. There are hundreds of networking events that you can go to. There is so much time that you have that you can go to these networking events, but just be kind to yourself. So do it really slowly. And then every time you go, it's going to feel easier and easier. One of the things I always say to my clients is when you go into, before you go into the event, is just set yourself this intention. Just really think about what you want from it. Do you just want to feel comfortable in the room? Do you want to feel calm? That's it. It's simple as that. And then give yourself just one simple metric of success. So not necessarily I want to get 5 people on LinkedIn, I want to make a sale. It's just something very simple, like I want to have one meaningful conversation. I want to introduce myself to one person, or I want to input into one conversation. That's it. Because having these small little wins will start to build your tolerance when it comes to visibility. And that is, again, one of the things that you really need to start focusing on when it comes to nervous system work. Preparation is definitely key. So practice your pitch in the mirror, practice it when you're driving on your way to the networking event, practice speaking it to other people, and do it so that you get to a point where you feel so relaxed and it just rolls off of the tongue. Do it in a way that feels good for you as well. And when you are saying it to people, just pretend you're talking to a friend. And I know that's easier said than done because you're not. But if you keep practicing it, that is the way that it's going to start coming across. And that natural way of speaking is going to keep you calm, keep you grounded, and keep you open. Because if you are able to pitch yourself in a way that feels good to you, then you're going to get a response from somebody that is positive. And that validation is like gold to your nervous system. And then after that, you're going to feel more confident to respond. And before you know it, you're having a conversation. So it's very easy to just do these small little things before you step into a networking event. Take time to do the prep work leading up to the event and do the nervous system work as well. And all of the things that I've spoken about are ultimately focusing on your nervous system. So one of the products that I've got coming out very soon is something called the Iconic Shift. And this is perfect if you have only been to networking events a few times, or you haven't been to one before and you really want to have that support and you want to go in and feel confident, or you're fed up with just going in and being on the sidelines and not contributing to any conversations. This is a 90-minute session with me where we go through how you're feeling, how you want to feel instead, what blocks you have that are stopping you from being more visible and more active in a networking event. And then you've got 5 days of unlimited coaching with me in Voxer. So it's a voice note app, and I can support you when you're going into the event, whilst you're in there. So if you're having a wobble and you need to pop to the loo and send me a message, we can do that and I can coach you through that. And then at the end, we will do a reflection. But not only you have that support with me for one networking event, throughout the 5 days, we can create a visibility strategy for you in terms of your identity and how you're going to feel. And there's so much that we can do in those few days. So if that's something that you are thinking, do you know what, actually that might work for me. And it's not just with the visibility. I'm doing this with any woman that wants to increase their income. Any little block that you have that you just think, oh, I just need a little bit of help to push me over the line, the Iconic Shift is the perfect product for you. So get in touch with me on Instagram. It's at Kirsty_Mason_coaching, and message me iconic, and we can talk about it. We'll jump on a call, and let's not hold back. Like, let's not stay where we are, because when we stay where we are and we're on this hamster wheel and we're not moving forward, we're not making the money, we're not getting the clients, we're not making the impact, which ultimately is like the biggest thing that we want to do in this world. And at the same time, when we're not doing all of those things, we're just making ourselves feel even more shit along the way. So let's work together. Let's make you feel amazing, and let's start moving you into the identity of the person that you want to be, that ideal self, the woman that is going into those networking events and just swanning around with her big bushy tail, networking and chatting to people and just feeling really good about it and making money at the end. So I hope you have the most wonderful day, everybody. And I've really enjoyed talking to you in this episode, as I always do. I think I say that every week, but I do love it. And if there is anything that has come up for you, from today's episode, then yeah, message me, send me an email, DM me, you know where to find me, and I'd love to help you. All right, lovelies. See you later. Bye.